Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is my first video of the new day. I said I would release at least 2 videos today, and this is a original idea. What if Deku was feedback? If you don't know who feedback is give me a second. This is feedback. So let's just get into the video. I'll talk at the end. Now, as we start the story, Izuku Midoriya is born as normal, but he has black hair and he also has a tail with a golden plug at the end. The doctor said it might be a mutation of his quirk, and his parents were thinking about what his quirk might be, but they would have to put that in the back of their minds. Now we time skip. Izuku is about 3 years old, and he is pretty energetic. He loves to move around a lot. He loves to do a lot of activities. At school, well, at kindergarten, he's one of the most friendliest kids people has ever known. And he is pretty confident about his abilities, as if you have ever watched Ben 10 and seen the personality of Ben when he uses feedback, he is pretty confident and arrogant, but he also has the power to back it up. In my opinion, Feedback and Alien X are the two strongest aliens in Ben's arsenal, based on my opinion, but we'll move on from that. Everyone always sees Izuku's tail and wonder what his quirk might be, if it's just a tail quirk because of his mutation. Now we time skip again. It's the first day when Bakugo gets his quirk. Everyone is excited and Bakugo is being praised and worshipped for his amazing quirk. And Izuku wasn't jealous, he was just looking on in amazement. And Bakugo then turned to him and say, "Wow, my quirk is even stronger than Izuku's quirk." And that took Izuku aback. What? Yeah, my quirk is explosions, and your quirk is just a dumb tail. I bet I'll be even stronger than All Might when I grow up. That led Izuku to think in his mind. Maybe he's right. Maybe my quirk is dumb. It's just a stupid tail. What can a stupid tail do? As Izuku had a sudden urge, he went to a socket in the back of the class, and the teacher saw him going to the socket. Izuku, get away from there! As Izuku suddenly put his... Sorry, a fly is bothering me. I'll be right back. Now, Izuku then had an urge to put his tail into the socket. As he did so, he began absorbing electricity, and the lights in the room began to dim. As Izuku unplugged his tail from the socket, he then regained consciousness, because in that state, he didn't know what he was doing. As the teachers was asked him if he was okay, and Izuku said, "Yeah, I'm fine. I just feel more energized for some reason." And he asked them what happened. They proceeded to tell him that he put his tail into the socket and he absorbed, or what looked to be absorbed, the electricity. Now, Izuku didn't know what happened, and he looked at himself. He looked at his tail, and all of a sudden his tail started ex- English start outputting electricity from it, and his fingertips began to release electricity also. Now, I should say, Feedback has golden tips on his fingers. Izuku doesn't have that. Izuku has regular fingers, but when he releases energy, a small miniature hole opens up in his fingertips, allowing him to output the energy that he releases. Um, as time goes on, Izuku will get more tails, but at the moment, because of how he's only able to access one tail. As you know, Feedback has three, so he'll get three more tails. He'll get two more tails, sorry. Now back to the story. As the day would end, and Inko would proceed to bring Izuku to the quirk doctor, where he would be examined, and they would find out that he is able to absorb energy. Now, these are the energies that he will be able to absorb. He will be able to absorb sound frequency, electricity, lasers, and plasma attacks, but he will not be able to absorb Bakugo's explosions. Because, as you know, explosions are just frictional energy, or basically just a shockwave, so he won't be able to absorb that, but he will be able to absorb Todoroki's flames, and that's it. He just can't absorb wind pressure. And because I want him to be a little strong, I will give him a slight speed boost when he speed boost and strength boost English when he has energy built up. Now this will give Izuku a bit of an edge because, as you know, feedback only is only able to absorb energy. He doesn't have super strength or anything like that. But he is pretty flexible in a sense. So yeah, Izuku has heightened reflexes, and that's it. As he hadn't outputted the energy that he absorbed in class. So in the test, they also found out that the more energy he has in his body, the stronger he gets. Basically, with the energy that he had absorbed in the class, he's basically at a 5% one for all with the energy. Now, I will give you guys a chance of seeing if Izuku will get one for all in this story. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Now, they would proceed to do more tests, and Izuku displaying that he was able to output the energy back through his tail or through his fingertips. And he would have had enhanced strength, enhanced speed, enhanced reflexes whenever he stored the energy inside of his body. Now, he went back to school the next day. Him telling the class about his quirk, and them proceeding to say, "Wow, your quirk is really strong. It's even stronger than Bakugo's." And at this point, Bakugo just awakened his quirk the other day, so Bakugo doesn't really have big explosions. His explosions are more like little firecrackers. So Bakugo would try and send an explosion at Deku, but Deku, subconsciously overnight, he had been absorbing electricity from the socket in his room, off of complete instinct for some reason, but he wasn't aware of this. Now, as Bakugo came towards him, he didn't output the energy as electricity, he outputted it as a small plasma blast, hitting Bakugo and sending him back just a bit because he didn't want to hurt him, and he didn't know he was going to do this. He just put his hand out in trying to not get hit by Bakugo. This plasma blast English would hit Bakugo, and Bakugo would be sent back with a small burn on his hand. The principal would get involved, and Inko and Mitsuki would be called, and Izuku would proceed to tell them what happened, and they wouldn't be in big trouble because it didn't hurt Bakugo that much. Izuku just had to submit an apology letter, and he was suspended for a week, even though it's kindergarten, but whoop-de-doo. Now we time skip. Over the years, Izuku has been getting more and more stronger with his quirk, and because he wasn't able to output his quirk that often, he is pretty strong. Because of him not releasing the energy as often, his base strength without any energy inputted into his body is about a 10% one for all. His speed is about a 15% one for all. So he is pretty fast and agile. He is pretty flexible, and he's able to get through a lot of tight spaces. If you're wondering why I'm recording this, I'm outside and my fence is made out of zinc, so it's shaking because of the breeze, because right now in Jamaica it's pretty windy. So if you hear that, I'm sorry. I'm going to try and buy an earphone with a mic today, hopefully, if I get any money. Anyway, back to the story. Now, over the years, him and Bakugo would get into a couple fights, but Izuku would never use his quirk. He was always dodge out of the way and hit Bakugo with pretty good attacks, because over the years, his mother had sent him to different types of martial arts, because Izuku growing up, he was a hero nerd, but he wasn't like into pretty strong heroes. He was into All Might, but not as much as Ken and Izuku. The hero that he mostly admired was Eraserhead, because of Eraserhead's quick, decisive blows, his flexibility, and his combat prowess. Izuku admired that, and Izuku would proceed to take some karate classes and kickboxing classes and boxing. So he would be pretty strong in fighting, and he doesn't need to use his quirk. That would piss Bakugo off. He's thinking that Izuku was looking down at him for not using his quirk to fight back. Izuku, over the years, would be pretty popular because of his outgoing attitude and his friendly demeanor. And over the years, a lot of girls would attempt to ask him out, but he would always decline. Because at this point, he doesn't really see a need to get with a girl. He's focused on becoming a hero if it's the last thing he does. Because this Izuku still has his heroic tendencies. Because feedback, even though he acts a certain way, like he acts all high and mighty, but he is a proper hero. He would do anything to help anyone, as we saw in the end of Omniverse, where he absorbed the I forgot what it was called, but it was something strong enough to destroy the universe that he absorbed, and he redirected it at a Crymo Sapien, a Crymo Sapien, a Thermo Sapien. What the fuck? Something Sapien. Okay, I don't give a fuck. Anyway, back to the story. Now, Izuku would be at the top of the class academically because he is pretty smart. He always proceeds to study and learn about different things. And even though he was arrogant in some people's eyes, he had the power and the smarts to back it up. Unlike Bakugo, who only had the power and not very smart in a sense. Now, we get to the final year of junior high. Everyone would proceed to get the talk from the teacher saying how they want to be heroes, and Bakugo would still downgrade everyone, but Izuku would then stand up. Katsuki, you can't tell anyone what they can and cannot do. People are allowed to have an opinion, and you don't know if anyone in this class might be stronger than you, or could put up a threat. Ah, Izuku, you want to go to UA as well, right? As Bakugo would hear this, he would try and attack Izuku, because over the years he would figure out that if he lets Izuku know when he's about to attack, he would get mollywopped. So as Bakugo would try and attack Izuku, Izuku would have seen this attack coming, and at this point, Izuku has been training a lot in karate, and he has been absorbing a lot of energy passively. He isn't aware, but that's what caused this mutation. He got another tail. His tail, he now has two tails. One of his tails would grab Bakugo's hand, and the other one would grab his other hand while Izuku palm striked him in the chest, making Bakugo cough up a bit of spit and sending him back a bit. Sorry everyone, I have to go somewhere, but I will be editing the video and I will complete the video. But just skip past that, skip about a minute ahead. I will be completing the video, but I have somewhere to go right now, so I'll see you guys later. And I will be recording a special what if that someone recommended, but I put my own twist on it. But it is their what if that they recommended. If I remember the person, I will show, or I could just show them now. Wait a minute. Turn this on and go to here. Here it is. I think it was Grim. I don't know if it was Grim though. I have to try and find the. I'll try and find it, but it was someone in my Discord that told me to do the what if, but you'll find out later. Skip ahead. Back later to finish the what if.